Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Broken Sword 3, The Sleeping Dragon. So we're trying to pinpoint the thing. That's real descriptive. We're trying to find the exact position where we're supposed to go.
George had given me this picture. I never could bring myself to throw it away.
And if we try to use the phone...
Perhaps I should make a call.
Who would I call? I guess maybe the newspaper and get some information? I guess that might work.
Better check in with my paper.
News desk?
Let's see how often she moves the phone around. Okay, theatrical mask. We got that hint a long time ago and never followed up on it.
I need you to help me.
That's what I'm here for.
You're a resting actress, so you might know this. Is there a theatrical connection to the Ile Saint-Louis?
There's an old theater on the island. I knew some people who were trying to get it reopened a few years back. But it's been condemned for the last 5 years.
Does it have a name?
Hieroglyph.
Thanks. I owe you one.
So...
Bye now.
There's a weird, massive amount of just pinpoint accuracy information we've just gotten. Not natural at all.
What could it mean, Andre?
We're going to have to be methodical about this.
So, we now know there's a theater. We now have Vernon's diagram. We have the theatrical mask hint for that we saw a long time ago. The Ile Saint Louis and all of that. So let's start with this.
What do you think that pattern represents?
It looks a bit like a spider.
Andre, this is serious. Do you think it could have anything to do with the lines of energy he mentioned?
Maybe this is where the power lines meet up.
Brilliant! That's it! But how does that help us?
See, what's really funny here is in Broken Sword 1, George would come to Nico's apartment. He would always immediately sit down and talk to her face to face on the same level. And that's something that they knew to animate and do in 2D animation. And yet here, they don't do that. They have her literally animating like she's breaking her neck looking down on Andre while Andre is sitting. You could have either had Andre just naturally standing, or you could have had her sit on the other side of the table and actually talk to him. This is just awkward. Let's go ahead, since we don't have any more information. Let's ask about the mask.
Do you
Seems
think
like
there
the
is a
items
theatrical
are
link to
flicking
the island?
themselves to
You
the
need
top
to do some
right
research.
every time I click on
Just
something.
the place to phone.
Like, see, you may not be able to see this, but when I click on something, it seems like the circle just flicks itself to the top right in just a few frames. So apparently I know where to investigate something. I have no idea where that would be, but whatever.
You say the Key of
I
Solomon
didn't see
is
it
a
that
book.
time.
Yes. There are even ancient Hebrew manuscripts that are claimed to be the real thing. But genuine scholars doubt their authenticity.
Perhaps the real thing contains further information on this.
So the theater.
Andre, do you know anything about a theater called Hieroglyph?
On the Ile Saint-Louis?
Yes.
No.
I'm going to have to investigate then.
And so we can't exit, so we know that this is going to move us to a new area.
What's the significance of the Ile Saint-Louis?
I have no idea. Perhaps we need a connection to another piece of information.
And there it looked like it flicked when I clicked the exit button.
Perhaps I should make a call.
So we can't make a call. Can I play the DVD again? No, I don't have the DVD.
It was the card I'd found on the dead guy. His phone number was 0123748019.
So there must be somewhere else I go.
I considered leaving my apartment.
Okay, yes, I can just go to the theater and find more evidence. So that's all we needed to do.
I'm going to hunt down some more clues.
It's a bit late to go poking around an old theater.
I'll be fine. Typical.
Who could that be?
Hello?
Remember me? Your boss?
Ah,
Where the hell have you been?
in jail. How come you didn't bail me out?
We're a bit low on resources right now, Nico. Which is why I have a new assignment for you.
I'm still working on the dead hacker story.
That's old news. I want you to...
I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
drop the case.
No! Someone framed me.
You don't get to choose, Nico. That's not the deal.
In that case, I quit.
Odd, because that's kind of all that
I feel
had
better
happened.
for that.
There's just the question of how you'll pay the bills and eat.
Something will come up.
You sound like your friend, George.
I don't know why he mentions George, considering George is completely out of the picture. You don't want to keep reminding her of it. Get a cutscene
The
here.
theater looked as if it had been abandoned for years. I wondered if it was really the right place. I was going to have to get inside to find out.
So let's peer through the glass, I guess.
I peered through the window, but the place was too dark.
I'm probably gonna have to sneak in
The door
around the
was in
side.
a terrible state, but the lock was brand new. Someone was obviously still using this place.
I kind of find it hard to believe that there would be any prime location in pretty much all of France that's would be allowed to be shuttered and not remodeled pretty quickly.
The door was locked. I couldn't force it.
And they don't have the largest amount of space that you can just leave in an abandoned building. Maybe it could get tied up in the historical preservation, but or being condemned. So we're on a street, and as we look here, try this door.
Just another locked door.
Probably shouldn't even bother trying. If it just has the door symbol.
Open the door.
If it just has the door symbol, it's not gonna open. This one doesn't even have a prompt. So maybe that will open at some point.
The door was shut fast and wouldn't open.
They have doorknobs in the middle of the doors. It's kind of old-fashioned. And the stop sign is stop French for stop? That's an interesting question.
I couldn't open the door.
So many places you can't open doors.
I couldn't open the door.
And see, this is giving me the inclination that I'm gonna...
My lead had brought me to the theater. I wasn't walking away now.
Look at the trees on the left, though. Look how flatly animated those are. And they're just little cardboard cutouts of trees. I guess they were hoping nobody would look and notice. You can even look at the water effects here for a second and just see how terribly animated that is by today's standards. So there's gonna be something that stops me.
I couldn't open the door. It was locked.
Here we've got a poster, and I think this is probably the end here. No, it isn't. All these posters seem to be overly detailed and put in the game as kind of Easter eggs.
The door was shut fast and wouldn't open.
That's the car over there, and let's see, does this go any further? Cameras.
My lead had brought me to the theater. I wasn't walking away now. I couldn't open the door.
This game could benefit from a map of France for people not familiar with France. And look at that light. It's just one red light, and yet it's cut out as a square as if there would be other lights. That's odd.
The door was shut fast and wouldn't open.
So we've got this section down here.
Just another locked door.
That's bathed in red light. And here's the car.
I could see the mask the traffic warden had described. I was in the right place, all right. It was the red Jaguar that had nearly run me over.
Let's see if we can open it.
Clearly had the connection to the theater. It looked like I was on the right track after all. The door was locked. I had no way of opening it, short of throwing a brick through the window.
The game's being nice, I think, by telling me that you have no way of opening it, so I don't have to sit there and think that there's some trick I'm supposed to pull off. Alright. I need, I think, something that would let me jump up. No, this may just very well be getting yourself pixel perfect in that one location. That's all it took. Alright. And from there we've got some footstep sounds. We can run around this way just to make sure. And then get on the right side of the ladder and use the ladder. So we're doing a little bit of platforming for Nicole this time, which is, and so that's the way you're supposed to go, I imagine. It's kind of a difficult jump. Jump too high, you'd hit your head. It seems like you would be able to jump up here. So they put a couple places in both of these to make it nice and easy. Although that's getting blocked off, so that tells me there's a 50-50 chance here I'm going the wrong way. Can't jump on the roof of the building though. And then jump down this way. And see, that to me tells me that if I had gone the other direction I would have just gotten this box. And I don't think I need the box. Like there's nothing else. Unless there was some kind of collectible or something. Or I'm supposed to loosen this sign. Oh, I am. I'm supposed to push the sign.
The billboard was attached to the scaffolding with a thin piece of string. It wouldn't take much to pull it loose.
So I push
this. It was a gamble, but my options were limited. Well, I had untied the billboard, but nothing had happened. Maybe it was stuck at the bottom. I had already untied the billboard.
Okay. I see what we're doing here. We're making a platform, making a plank to cross. So I do need to go to the other area. Kind of wish there was a quicker way through all this, but whatever. Very, very far away from a point-and-click adventure game now. You've made a platformer, which, frankly, when this game was made, platformers just shouldn't have been. I mean, they were gonna get made no matter what, but they by modern comparison, platforming, this is pretty bad, and games of this day and age were pretty bad. So I'm not even saying that this one was oddly out of place. In fact, this was probably amazing at the time. Just consider some of the platforming you might have seen in, I would say, like Banjo-Kazooie might be, not Banjo-Kazooie, oh, Crash Bandicoot, that's what I'm thinking. Like, she hovered and hit her head on that. Just by modern takes. Compare some really old things, old platformings, the platformers you might know, to something like Mirror's Edge or the most recent new Super Mario Brothers. Just how fast and smooth.
So what? I felt like I was under a death sentence already.
And how many different actions you have. That gameplay, that whole puzzle we just did, would not be considered acceptable at all. Well, I bet that sign would probably block the car from leaving.
God, that was close. I was trapped on the theater side with no way back.
And there's no way down, so unless I get chased and decide to jump on this, jump down this hole, I'm only going up. And what's this? Is this the right direction? Or the wrong direction? Before we try that door, which I think is the right direction, let's go look at the wrong directions a little bit. Yeah, and I just don't think Broken Sword works as a platformer, really. As an action game. You're starting to get into Uncharted, and Uncharted only really works because it's mostly a shooter more than an adventure. Even Tomb Raider is mostly like that.
I couldn't hear anything moving on the other side of the door.
Notice how when she moves forward, her shadow disappears. Watch. It just completely disappeared.
Nothing but silence behind the door.
I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just because when animating it turns off everything else.
I couldn't open the door. It was locked.
Must the game give me multiple doors that are locked.
I couldn't hear anything moving on the other side of the door.
Honestly, there's really no reason to even be careful and listen. I should just try all the doors.
And wouldn't open.
We've seen on multiple occasions now that if you die, it just goes back to the checkpoints, and it's only going to kill you in QuickTime events, it seems. So I seriously doubt I'm ever going to hit a point where I open the door, but I should have listened to the door first to see if anybody was there. Certainly plenty of other games have done that. Plenty of old point-and-click adventure games have had ideas like that, where it's like, you're gonna die. Sierra games in particular are pretty notorious for doing things like that. But I don't think this is gonna be one of those games. And then we're in a room full of stuff, and I think we may just trigger a cutscene. Or we may listen into a meeting of the Templars. Yep, sounds like that's what's gonna happen. This is almost suspiciously similar to what is this called? Broken Sword? Yeah, it's suspiciously similar to Broken Sword 1 at this point. Like, they were thinking about a remake even when they were making the third game. And they're making a soft reboot here by still giving it the number, but look how big that door is. This door and thus this hallway is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 Nicole widths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a huge hallway. It's way out of scale. And clearly,
I can't hear anything moving on the other side of the door.
I hear things. Actually, in the game, I hear things.
The door looked well made.
Let's just open the door, I guess. Maybe I'm still further away than I thought. Or maybe there's just music playing through electronic beams? And so it's not an indication of actual people? Here we have an empty room, just completely empty. Interesting that it animates if you run into things instead of just stopping. I have a feeling somebody's going to end up tied up to that chair. And if there are big structural struts here that are supposed to either be holding up the building or something, and they are not holding up the building, this place is really dangerous.
The poster was half torn away and covered in graffiti. The eyes spookily followed me around the room. Reminded me of the father of an old boyfriend.
So somebody's watching me through there? Can you jump over?
There was somebody coming. I had to hide. The popcorn stand was my only option.
I shall miss Paris, my dear. It has been charming, has it not?
I shall never forget it.
But the city is becoming unstable, and we have no need of this space.
She has the same haircut,
Soon, my plans
even though she's a blonde now and was wearing a wig.
It seems that we have a visitor.
Is this the right place for the audition? You again.
Aha, so this is the girl. Petra, my dear, you must introduce us.
So,
Nico
is
Collard?
Petra gonna
Senor Susaro.
pull out a gun and shoot her?
And yet our lives have crossed.
For the worst.
In your case, that will certainly be true. Flap!
So, Bruno and I came to Paris. It was the first time I've been back since, well, since the last time. I was on the trail of Cesaro and the dragon power. We waited till it got dark. Then Bruno led me through the back streets to the place he suspected. I waited while he checked the readings on his mysterious device.
My calculations indicate that this is the place.
Behind that wall? Are you sure?
My machine tells me it is there, and I have no reason to doubt it.
Okay. Well, let's get inside and take a look.
No, I am not going in there. I said I would bring you here, and that is what I have done. I am not going in
I didn't
there.
even know George
No,
was
you're just
going to
being paranoid.
Paris.
No, it is only paranoia when they are not out to get you.
Okay, Bruno. You stay here.
So, we're in Paris, and since we're both in Paris, the idea, I guess, is that we will eventually end up together, meeting together.
That door wasn't going to open.
And the way that was phrased, that I haven't been here since the last time, could just be a good line of dialogue.
Either the door was stuck, or it was just locked.
Or it could be that this game may have been in development in parallel to other games. And so this might have been Broken Sword 4 instead of 3.
Magazines and large
Or
hardback books.
Broken
That
Sword
Irish guy,
2
Eamon, he would have loved this place.
instead of 3.
Novels and short stories by the look of it. Kids' books. Shame it wasn't open. I still had a couple of gaps in my Tintin collection, and this could have been just the place.
Tintin being a famous book series, particularly not in the United States.
Either the door was stuck, or it was just locked.
And this way,
Bruno had risked a lot to bring me here. I wasn't about to go sightseeing.
so can't go any further here. It seems very premature to have us back on the street trying every
That
door.
wasn't going to open.
Of course, I probably could just not try every door. That would save a lot of time.
The door to the repository was old and heavy. They sure didn't want anyone taking their books. The door was locked tight. I'd have to find another way in.
There's some weirdness here. If the Templars knew of the ley
Bruno had
lines,
risked a lot to bring me here. I wasn't
they
about to go
either
sightseeing.
didn't know where they were, or the ley lines change or move. Otherwise, you would think that the Templars could just, over hundreds of years, purchase the land and have it under control and have it closely watched instead of it being a book repository. You get some weird animation when you run sideways against a wall when running, but whatever. We've got a crate. We've got this. We've got this.
It was a large recycling dumpster. I wondered what sort of things the French recycled.
This is an interesting question. So, my guess is I'm supposed to grab this and shift this a couple spaces. Grab this and shift it a couple spaces this way. Grab this and shift it back that way. Nope, it's already there. Hop up And seriously, you're not gonna let me... Well, before I move this any further, let's figure out what we're supposed to be doing. Are we just going for this ledge? Let's push it one this way and then look in the dumpster. This is a big trash can.
I couldn't close the lid from the ground.
Okay, so I'm supposed to close the lid. So I am supposed to push this. Just gotta push it further. This is an odd way to do this puzzle. Just very specific and precise. But I could see a lot of people not figuring out that that's the solution they wanted. And so now we have a broken window.
The window was latched inside. One of the panes was smashed, leaving a gaping hole.
Yeah, who would want a trash bin in front of a window anyways?
Suddenly, I was very scared of what lay ahead. Aha! The window opened easily.
So here we go. And
I found myself in a book repository.
Really, really the worst time ever to break away from Nico. I mean, she just pretty much got murdered. We know she's not really dead, but that's the implication. All these books are exactly the same.
I could see very little in the dark. I needed more light.
Just grab a book.
I hoped to find something useful, but I was out of luck.
Yeah, I don't think book depositories would specifically have multiple copies of books.
Nothing happened.
Unless book depository also means book warehouse. And then that would have multiples of books. Let's look at the store.
It was a sturdy metal door.
And open the store. I keep thinking I'm gonna trigger something, but I guess I'm not. That's gonna be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.